Welcome to Weather to Watch. I'm meteorologist Ted Keller. Well, the month of April so far started out pretty stormy. It's kind of quiet now, but I'm going to show you all kinds of evidence that rainy weather, especially in the central U.S., and an uptick of severe weather once again, looks pretty likely once we get past most of this work week. Starting this weekend, things look interesting, and it could last through the rest of the month. Visible satellite loop today shows a pretty quiet country dominated by cool air in this area here. A little disturbance right there that I'll focus on in a minute. Cloud cover sweeping across the Great Lakes states, a front in the southern plains. Not much going out west, little upper level system here. Let's take a look at 500 millibars. So we do have a little disturbance just coming ashore in Los Angeles there. And again, this flow out of the northwest supports cool air, but only in this area right here, not down here at all. And as you might expect, there is a front moving through not only New England and the Great Lakes, but also through parts of the plains. But then it comes to an abrupt stop there. So I don't think it's really going to advance much more to the south, whereas this high will move in this direction. If we look at temperatures here at 5 o'clock Central Daylight Time, they range from below freezing in northern Wisconsin and Minnesota to generally 50s in Illinois and Indiana, 60s and 70s in Kansas and in Missouri. And in this area right here, it's warming up into the 40s today. But despite that, there is a winter weather advisory in effect for that area for later on tonight as the cold air continues to press in. And that little disturbance I showed you kind of brushes over Omaha, parts of Iowa southwest corner. Really not a whole lot to get concerned about. Not a major winter storm by any stretch of the imagination. And of course that high is bringing with it, since it's pretty large and kind of late in the season, there's a freeze warning in effect from Illinois to West Virginia, frost advisory south of there in Kentucky, and they're watching for the possibility of freezing conditions out in the middle Atlantic states from New Jersey back into Virginia. And these are all, by the way, for later on tonight. Let's take a look at what the means show for the next 7 days. The European model has it's called the EPS, so it's not only an ensemble model, but they take the ensemble runs and then they average them over a 7-day period, basically starting today and going through Sunday. So it shows troughiness out west, tendency for a ridge to be in the central U.S., and the pattern for the temperature includes cool temperatures. A lot of that is weighed very heavy on the high that's currently moving into that area. But there's another cool front in the future there, so that's what's contributing to the below normal bias there. And South Texas, that's just wet weather right there. Much of the west, warm and dry. They could use some rain. If you look at the precipitation rates, they're not really forecast to get anything. Maybe a little bit of a tick in some of these areas. Very dry in the Pacific Northwest, very dry in the Southeast, but you can't help but miss. You just can't miss, really, this corridor here. Get used to seeing this, because this abnormally high precipitation rate was featured the first week of April, which just ended last week and into Saturday. It's going to repeat this week, and as I'll show you later, it'll come back in that same area one more time. Now let's take a look at a little more detail of what that rain looks like. So here's the drought index, and the driest areas are South Georgia, North Florida, most of Florida really pretty dry, South Texas, parts of Northeast Arkansas, and up there and around Northwest Colorado. So let's see, over the next 6 days, 2 rainfall areas are predominant. This you can't miss. Just the Gulf is open for business, flowing moisture up to the north and shunting it off to the northeast. Florida has some hope of getting some rain at least, and the Sierra Nevada getting some rain and snow in that area too. Let's break it down. Let's look at the first 3 days of the total precipitation forecast. So East Florida, around Daytona, around that area, could get 5 inches, 4 inches of rain. Looks pretty good, but it's very confined to areas of south and eastern Florida, not so much where the bullseye of the drought index was. And then we'll turn our attention to the Great Plains, where a rain hazard will probably set up for Thursday and Friday. This is the first salvo, if you will, of the expected rains from Iowa into Missouri and Kansas. And then if we go and look for Saturday, and then the combination of Sunday, Monday, so Saturday's rain hazard is here, and then it overlaps with the Sunday, Monday rain hazard. That implies there's a weather system, of course, creating both of those and moving along to the east. And not doing so very quickly because there's an overlap in precipitation as drawn, so that looks interesting. If we look at the specifics, this is day 4 or 5 combined, Friday, Saturday. So right around the Kansas City area, 3 inches of rain. The purple is generally 1.5 to about 2 inches of rain. panhandle of Texas getting some rain with this. And then the Sunday through Monday period features again. It's not stopping, so this actually is looking pretty good for Sunday, Monday. Hopefully that can translate over into Arkansas, where we had some of that dry air there, and Wisconsin and Michigan getting some pretty good rain too. Now, this is Sunday through Thursday, this next map. A lot of that is weighed for what I just showed you, but it does go beyond. In fact, I think there's more precipitation in that corridor setting up even beyond the maps I just showed you. There is some severe weather, as you might expect, that will be setting up with this, and that appears to be kicking in as well. Let's take a closer look at that. Well, there's not much severe weather risk through today or Tuesday, tomorrow, but Wednesday, a little bit, level 1 out of 5 there in Kansas. Not a big threat, but it does kick in this weekend. In fact, the Storm Prediction Center, I say this a lot, they do a forecast really for the next 8 days, but the 1 through 3 days, they give a lot more detail, especially on days 1 and 2. And then if it goes days 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, if anything shows up in this period, like you're seeing here for Saturday, it's actually pretty significant. It means the confidence is pretty high that's going to happen. So that's a classic West Texas severe weather setup from Amarillo straight down to Midland and a little bit east of there. I won't be able to storm chase that day. However, the next day on Sunday, I will be able to. So South Kansas to West Texas, including Oklahoma City, western Oklahoma, is under that severe thunderstorm risk once again. And when I show you the 2-day outlook, I'll show you how impressive these severe weather chances look right through the rest of April. So on Tuesdays, you might expect behind that front a little cool, the green color showing below normal temperatures, but much of the country is actually experiencing warm conditions on Tuesday. On Thursday, 2 days later, the Ohio and Tennessee and also just the general Midwest area seeing very warm temperatures. Columbus will get up to 81. Meanwhile, another little intrusion of cool air will keep readings in the Dakotas and Minnesota and Wisconsin pretty cool. New England cool, and the northwestern U.S. cool too. And then by Saturday, much of the country will be above normal. If you see a yellowish color or hot-looking color, that's what that means, including the return of 80s to parts of Arkansas and Missouri, 76 in Rapid City tomorrow, and Billings, Montana, well into the 70s as well. And if you look for Sunday through Thursday, right after the period I just got through showing you, the highest confidence for warm temperatures in the southeast for sure. So now I'm going to take that same EPS forecast and just click a button and make it start a week from today and go 7 days into the future, which is a lot less, accurate probably, but it's all trends, and that's why we average it all together and use ensembles to do this. So generally speaking, still kind of troughy in the southwest and still kind of ridgy in the east. That supports warm temperatures everywhere, really, except, maybe the extreme northern plains. I wanted to show you the precipitation rate through that same period, and it looks almost exactly like the one in the week before. Texas to Michigan is a rainy zone for sure, and areas that need it, like here, don't appear as if they're going to get it. The government agrees with the general assessment of all the long-range models and has said there's a slight risk of a rain hazard occurring anywhere in this green area right around April 14th to tax day, April 15th. On the severe weather side, this is 2 weeks out, so again, don't look necessarily at the extreme, at the colors. Look at the pattern. So you can just tell that cold fronts are stopping at north of that line, that some severe weather is leaking over into the northeast, and that the height of it is in the Great Plains in a very typical fashion for this time of year. But look at this, though, and this is all over the internet. I've seen it everywhere. But again, it's not so much the values, although that's the highest percentage and largest area of it I've seen so far this spring. But the same general theme, we have a front that'll stop that advancement northward. We have an enhancement from Texas, Oklahoma, and Kansas, the traditional hotbed for severe weather this time of year. And here's the April forecast. The southern U.S., pretty warm, highest confidence of above normal temperatures in Utah. And the rain forecast looks like it's going to verify because we've already had one pattern last week that supported this. And then as I just showed you, we've got 2 more coming. So it looks like that's going to verify pretty well. Areas that needed Florida, not so much. And out west, again, pretty low confidence in being wet and pretty high confidence that it will be below normal in precipitation through much of the southwest. Thanks for watching this edition of Weather to Watch. It comes out every other day, or as the weather necessitates. Please remember to share this with your friends, subscribe to the channel, or at the very least, like what you just watched. Thanks.